On the GameFace Footy Show tonight, Division 1 live from the Lonergan Studio. I've only been here 5 minutes, I've already got the studio after me, isn't that good? Great news for the GameFace app, 12,000 people over the weekend. In the under-19s, Mornington and Edith Vale Aspendale were winners. In the reserve, Sorrento and Edith Vale Aspendale were progressing to the next stage. Great news for them. While in the seniors, Pines continue their outstanding form. They're into the second semi against Sorrento. While Edith Vale Aspendale, who tipped this? The old Butch Gale, I certainly did. They were beaten by YCW, who stormed home with 5 goals in the last quarter. We'll discuss that, along with having Matthew Fontaine, one of the keys for YCW in their win last week. He's in the green room at the moment, tasting a beautiful espresso coffee. He'll be joining us on the program. Bombers President Chris Sharman, as usual, wants to get a few things off his chest. And Trent Dennis Lane and Steve Hughes, newly appointed co-coaches of Bomb Beach, will also join us as well. A big show coming up. Great to be here as we welcome Chris Holcomb and Tony Blackford. Had a week off last week. We were down at one of his favourite places, of course, Red Hill. But Blackers, good to have you back tonight.
No, it's good, Dan. It's good to be in your room, mate. And you know, you've been involved on the Mornington Peninsula for 10 or 12 weeks now, and I walk in here and it's got D. Lonergan, you know.
They suggested a name and we couldn't come up with anything else, and I said, I'll just call it Dan Lonergan.
He's very comfortable. He must know the area well. On my drive in, I actually saw him coming out of the Happy Hands Massage Club just around the corner, so don't know if you frequent it there often.
My back's feeling a lot better
now.
Oh,
I bet it is. I bet it is.
Yeah. Now, boys, we need to start with the GameFace app. It had 12,000 impressions over the weekend.
What does that mean, Dan?
Well, I knew you'd ask me that, Black, because that means people have visited the site and had a look at what we're doing, and we're obviously doing a lot. And we've got a lot going on. Our principal, Glenn Carter's done a wonderful job. All our team's done a wonderful job. We're out and about visiting a lot of people on the weekend, going to a lot of the games, and we've done a lot of interviews. So
and Dan,
it's working beautifully. Now that the finals are
People
underway.
are getting to know who you are.
They are.
And people want to come and speak to you, Dan, don't they?
They are. I have, as well as having a studio named after me, apparently I'm the man of the people.
I know that.
Because I've been out and about talking to people, and they won't talk to anyone at GameFace on the camera, with the greatest respect to Matt, the greatest respect to Reece, and to Howie, and to Glenn, and the others, unless it's me or the coach. And the coach is with me, and we had a great day yesterday down at Rye again for the second week in a row. Oh, there's my phone. It goes off again. Oh, can you believe it? That's 4 weeks in a row my phone has rung. Why do people wait until I'm busy till after 6 o'clock?
Is it your mum again, Dan?
No, it's actually someone else. No comments, no names, no pack drill. Yes, I'll leave that for another day. But
I believe that though.
It's good news.
I've been watching a lot of football the last couple of weeks, and they're all asking about you, Dan.
Are they?
Yeah, no, out and about. They're excited about what we're doing. They want to know what you like.
Is he really that ugly?
No, they just want to know what you like behind the scenes, and I don't lie to them. I tell them you're a bit of a knob behind the scenes. And
Do you really?
No, I don't. I say you're a good bloke.
I think I'm a bit better. Well,
no,
boys,
you're a good bloke.
Just before we look at the weekend, it was a great weekend of footy in First Division. Some great news for GameFace, because it's been approved to work with the AFL Yarra Rangers competition next year, which is going to be called the Outer East competition. It is great news.
Yeah, wonderful.
Which will have a Northern Division as well. So I think that third division will be the Northern Division, which will have teams like Powertown, Kinglake, Yea, Alexandria, etc. But a lot of the teams from the Sefnal League, which is in its last year, are going to go up there. Berwick and also Narry Warren. We don't know about Cranbourne at the moment.
Will the 7 sides that go across, will they be in the one division, or will they be spread out?
Well, my understanding at the moment, because the AFL Outer East or AFL Yarra Rangers have already started working ahead without Cranbourne for their new competition next year, that definitely 3 of the Sefnal teams will go into First Division, or as they're going to call the Premier Division, and that'll be Berwick, that'll be Narry Warren, that'll be Beaconsfield. And if Cranbourne do go in, if they're not successful in coming into the MPNFL, they'll join them as well, with probably the top 4 in the First Division in the Yarra Rangers competition, which, when I last checked, was Alinda, Ferny Creek, Wandon, Woori Yallock, and also Upway Tacoma. So that'll be the 8-team Premier Division. If Cranbourne doesn't come in, the 5th best team, which I think is Monbulk, will come into that competition. And then the other teams, such as Tooradin, such as Pakenham, Officer, who made their first finals appearance in 14 years under Doug Coote, they're going to go into the second division. Tooradin maybe not. I think Tooradin may go to West Gippsland, so Doveton will go into the second division, and we'll see if they can be a little bit more successful, of course. So
and they'd want to go into the second division, Dan.
Oh, they need
because,
to.
Because they're not getting anywhere near the Berricks and Narrowans.
I don't really care.
You don't care?
No.
You don't care about the Outer East Comp at all?
No, not at all.
Well, for
just
the
wake
people,
me up when you finish.
No, but hang on.
But for the viewers here, Dan, they're only interested in what's happening on here.
I would have thought that local footy is local footy.
No.
I mean, we're a business. We're growing our product, and I think it's good that we are growing our product to the Outer East. Isn't it good to know it's happening, Chris and Blackers, outside your own backyard? Isn't it good to know what's going on with other leagues, other competitions, how they compare to your competition, which you guys have grown up playing in and having a lot of success in?
No, yeah, some people might be interested.
Well, I certainly am.
I'm not.
I certainly am.
What goes on?
I've come from a lot of country leagues. I started my career calling Western Border football back in 1989.
We've discussed that. We love the Western Border.
Yeah, I also called the Colac District Football League, called the Ballarat League, called the Bendigo League. I love local footy, so I've got an interest in a number of different leagues.
3HA in Hamilton.
3HA Hamilton was my first job.
I knew that.
Back in 1989. Yeah. We had
Hamilton Imperials
and Hamilton Imperials.
Man played that year.
They're now the one team.
They are. They're called the Kangaroos, and they play in the Hampden League.
They do, and they're struggling. They should have been in different competitions, but that's a story for another day. They should have kept Hamilton and Western Border, and then should have gone down to the Hampden League when they had an opportunity a few years ago. But the point I'm trying to make is it's good to look outside your own backyard at different competitions, and that's what GameFace is doing next year. Okay, to the Morning Peninsula League, Chris, to get you interested so you don't fall asleep. Now, looking at the under-19s on the weekend in the elimination final.
What a cracking game.
Yep.
Mornington were behind after the Bombers dominated the third quarter, but stormed home to get over the line by 2 points, so they advanced. A good result for them.
Great result, and they were up by a bit. I think Frankston kicked the last three of the game to storm back into it, but it was a good win by the Mornington boys. I see Connor Jacoby was best on ground. He's actually eligible for under 17. So
is he?
Yeah, so it's a great effort from Connor to have a big game.
How many of those boys out of the Mornington side would have played senior footy this year?
I had 5 of them play senior footy with me last year, and I think...
Is that right?
Yeah, 5 of that side played senior footy last year. And
they're still playing under 19 footy.
They're still playing under 19 footy. They wasn't big on it this year, I don't think, Goose, and I think a few of them, Gorka and Crimo, played a few games, but I think that was about it.
So when you say you wasn't big on it, what, the under-19 boys playing senior footy?
Yeah, I probably didn't have as much exposure to it as what they got the year before. That might have been the case because their list might have been a bit deeper and they were able to play more senior players. I'm not sure because I wasn't really in the inner sanctum.
But they had an injury hit early part of the season.
They did.
So surely they would have called on some of the kids.
Well, they did to an extent, but I don't think it went to the extent of what we had the year before. Yeah. But hopefully we get some good players out of that anyway.
Now, Edith Vale, Aspendale and YCW, who played in the elimination final, we'll talk about that in a second, the seniors, played in the qualifying final in the under-19s, and YCW led early, and then the Eagles were too good in the second half to get the job done.
Yeah.
Josh O'Toole kicked 7 for YCW, but didn't get enough support, and there were a number of guys, including Sam Hart, who'd kicked 36 goals in the home and away season in the under-19s. Yeah. He got 3 goals for Edith Vale Aspendale, so they're into the second semi. Yep. They take on Mount Eliza, so a good result for them.
Yeah, Edith Vale have had a strong group of kids for a little while. They're going to be hard-pressed to beat Mount Eliza because they're just unbelievable this year.
Above and beyond, aren't they?
They are. They're like Red Hill in second division. But Mount Eliza will go all right. And then the other one's really interesting because Mornington actually give YC a bit of a beating early on, so that first semi's not a lay down for YC.
So it should be a very interesting match in the under-19s, the 2 matches next week. Now, the reserves, looking at what happened at Chelsea, and I still don't understand, well, you guys have tried to explain to me why a second division club would host a first division final. They believe that the better grounds were involving teams
in finals,
that were playing in the finals.
Put them to a disadvantage.
Other than Mornington. So the game was held at Chelsea, which was described as a small ground anyway. But Frankston YCW played Sorrento in the reserve elimination final, and that was a 33-point win to Sorrento. They got right away from the Stone Cats in the second half. So they've done a great job to get through. And after the game, our GameFace team spoke to the victorious coach of the Sorrento Sharks in the reserves, Dion Phillips.
I'm joined by Sorrento's reserve coach Dion Phillips, who's just come off a pretty gutsy win against Frankston YCW, don't you think?
Yeah, it was a great performance. So the boys have steeled themselves. We've known them been in the 5 for a while. last week we played EDS, knew we couldn't move, so we knew where we were going to finish. We didn't know who we were going to play, but we knew we had elimination and have to win everyone to win it. So, you know, it was a good start.
And next week they take on Seaford, who got beaten by Edithvale Aspendale. Seaford, of course, had done well to finish second after a poor season in the seniors.
Yep.
They get another chance next week. YCW gone for 2018 in the reserves.
Holtz, they've had a lot of good ex-senior players playing in the Seaford second side, haven't they?
Yeah.
Shorty and the Campbells.
Yep. And I think a lot of that, probably with Seaford, I think what happened this year was there a fair bit of conjecture about blokes who wanted to play seconds as opposed to seniors because they were having an ordinary year. That might have been a bit of a problem with the club. Talking to a few of them, they look poor on the weekend. Edithvale have got a lot of depth, and even with them losing in the seniors and going out, Edithvale
that's
will be
going
red
to
hot.
help Edithvale a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Because a lot of those guys might have played numerous games in the reserves to get themselves fit going along the way.
Well, Ack and Walk were two players that played a bit of senior footy. I remember calling them early in the season when they just beat Hines by a point. They were in that team. That senior team for Edithvale Aspendale that day, they were two of the stars for Edithvale, and Walk was actually best on ground.
What about a fellow like Tim Mannix? Would he?
I don't think he would have played enough to qualify.
No.
I think he only played one game in the seconds. That was about it.
Is that all he played?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, here's what Mark Fitcher had to say after Edithvale Aspendale had a win in the reserves to qualify for a match against the top team, Mount Eliza.
Hi guys, just here with EDS seconds coach Fitch. Had a fantastic win today, mate, against Seaford. How do you sum it up?
Yeah, look, Sykes, it was a really, look, it was a tough game. They're a really good side, Seaford, who we respect really, really highly. I know a few of the guys I used to play against them, and we really respected the way they go about their footy. But credit to our boys, I thought for 3 quarters we really had most of the play. In the second quarter, I thought they got on top of us, but fortunately they didn't hurt us going the other way on the scoreboard as much as what they probably would have hoped, Sykesy. So look, it ended up being a good day for us, mate.
He's a good man, the Fitch.
Oh, he's a
Holtz.
Well, they won by 42 points, 12-7, 79 to 5-7, 37. As you said, Chris, they had the game won quite comfortably,
they did,
leading throughout the day. So that's a good result for them. Seaford need to find a way now to bounce back, because we saw in second division, and we'll discuss it later, that there were a number of teams that bowed out in straight sets over the weekend, and they wouldn't want to join that group in the reserves in the first division next weekend.
There might be one in the senior competition, mates, bow out in straight sets. Might find out a bit about that later on.
We might,
yeah.
But we'll wait and see. I mean, they were very poor, weren't they?
And they won't start favourites this week.
No, they won't.
No, we'll talk about that very shortly. But so a great result for Edithvale Aspendale. I know they would have been hurting after what happened on Saturday, letting that one get away. And we've got our special guest, Matt Fontaine from YCW, to tell us about that very, very shortly. But a good result for the club, that they're galvanised, aren't they? They call themselves the Edithvale Aspendale Sporting Club, and their motto is "We fly together."
Yep.
And they obviously were able to get back on the horse, the under-19s and reserves, and find a way to win. So at least they've got still 2 teams in, and still 2 teams deep in the finals.
They're a very good club. They've got a lot going for them. The seniors bowed out. Obviously, they couldn't click, but even their netball club's flying at the moment.
And Holtz, you and I both thought that they had one of the best lists going around.
Yeah, they did.
We always felt that they just weren't clicking.
No, they weren't.
And we just thought, next week it's going to be,
Yeah.
But they ran out of time.
And the other thing too, they mucked up with the points, didn't they? I think the points was always an issue for them after the first game. I think they became gun shy because they had so many players had to try and fit within the points regime that they had.
Yeah.
That they had, and they, I think, were just a bit nervous about which way they go. Are you sure you're right with this player? Has he got the right number of points?
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, that played on their mind a bit as well.
It might have, but the reality was we put it on them round 17, round 18. We said, if you're going to be fair income and have a crack in the finals, make a statement. Round 17, round 18, you're playing good sides. They couldn't do it. They lost both of them, and then they ran out of steam on the weekend.
They did. And I mean, look, they were narrow losses, and they had a chance to win all of them, but weren't able to do it. I know Graham Yates went through them after the match, and so he should have, when they're 22 points up with 20 minutes remaining, and they allowed YCW to run over the top of them. We'll find out why YCW was able to run over the top of them. One of their good young midfielders, Matthew Fontaine's been good enough to join us. He's had a couple of espressos, he's been in the green room, and he'll join us next on the GameFace Division 1 Footy Show. Good on you, Matt. St Andrews Brewery, using the finest ingredients, ensuring each beer is full of flavour and character.
Frankston RSL, Frankston's function and restaurant specialist.
Looking at the Division 1 goal kicking after the first weekend of the finals, Aaron Edwards of Pines, who won the home and away goal kicking award for this year, kicked 6 in Pines' great win to put them into a second semi-final. Paul Minchington of YCW helped his team get over the line and stay in the finals race by beating Edithvale Aspendale. He kicked 5, and Jordan Moncrief of Mount Eliza kicked 3 in their team's loss to the Pines. A number of players kicked 2, including Brad Tagg of Edithvale Aspendale, Sam Monaghan of Edithvale Aspendale, Lachlan Street of YCW, and Pines trio Paul Scanlon, Aaron Ludovic and Tim Bongetti. In the reserves goal kicking, Angus Clavin of Sorrento kicked 4, Heath Cameron of Sorrento also kicked 4 as they moved through to the first semi-final. Campbell Lack of Edithvale Aspendale kicked 3, as did his teammate Darcy Walk, as they're into the second semi-final after a good win in the qualifying final on the weekend. And in the under-19s goal-kicking table after the first week of the finals in First Division, Josh O'Toole of YCW was a lone hand. His team got beaten, but he booted 7 and 3 each to the Edithvale Aspendale pair after they had a good win, Sam Hart and Ryan Francis. Great to be here. This is the GameFace First Division Footy Show live from the Dan Lonergan Studio at Dandenong South. I love that name. Thank you very much for those that named it. It was yours truly that actually named it, so there you go. And it's great to have our special guest. Chris, what have you called it? Have you had a chance to name the studio?
Oh, you put me on the spot here, mate. Give me a segment. I might come back to you on some.
All right. What about you, Blackies? You would have called it the Tony
Could have
Blackford.
been Cart's Bar. Cart's used to have a
He did have a bar, didn't he,
Yeah,
Glenn?
it could have been Cart's Bar, yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, I've just decided.
No, Dan Lonergan sits well with me. Dan, like, you've been around for 12 weeks and you made an impact.
30 years in the media. 30 years in the media.
I don't know.
18 or over 20 in mainstream.
Which has
media,
made
to be honest.
an amazing career in itself, Dan.
Thank you, Blankers. I appreciate that. I don't know whether that was said.
No, it's true. Because everyone, Dan, that I've speak to about yourself, the ones who are really football heads, they love the way that you used to call the game.
Thank you.
What is this, a hug out thing or something? We just saw a bit of love, a bit of male.
Bit of love.
No. It's time to welcome our special guest, and he's having a very good year for YCW. Played a big role in their team getting over the line, and as I said in a couple of my summaries today, beware the Stone Cats come finals time, because they managed to find a way. They were nearly 4 goals down about 10 minutes into the last quarter in the elimination final in the last quarter on Saturday, and they found a way to get over the line by 8 points. Matthew Fontaine has also played a lot of footy for Frankston Bombers in the VFL this year. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Yep, no worries. Thanks for having me.
And the man bun, I don't like it, but you're obviously very comfortable with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been growing it out for a while, but I've thought myself, if we make the grand final, it might come off. And
might
let
off.
a bit of a mullet flow, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Hey, Dan, you would love a man bun if you could grow it, couldn't you? Wouldn't you?
Absolutely not.
Maybe you could
There's
do
a Sorrento supporter who's got about as much hair as me, but it's a lot greyer. He drove us mad the first home game we were down there, part of the Chardonnay set, and he put his hair in a man bun. He was annoying us as we were trying to do interviews with Russell Morris and Troy Schwartz and a few other people, and myself and Glenn Carter. The first day we worked together, and we were just trying to get used to each other, and we're both feisty characters. Hi, Glenn. I hope you understand that I love you dearly.
Oh.
But, I mean, what I'm trying to say here is that we were both getting a bit annoyed with this guy, and I thought he had absolutely no hair, and he had a little bit in a man bun at the back, and I thought, what
a toss.
Maybe we can get Matty in on the grand final footy show to lop it off, if they make it.
Yeah.
Oh,
at the RSL.
If you can.
Right, if we make it.
If Cappy says you can come in,
if we make it.
Provided it doesn't take you away from your preparation.
We'll see.
So, tell us about last week. Was it self-belief again, knowing that it's a finals game, even though your season had been a bit stop-start, up and down, that despite being 4 goals down, you could find a way and get over the line, which you did?
Yeah, well, I mean, it was a different situation for us because obviously when the last few years particularly we've gone into finals with a second chance, so we've sort of been able to have that leeway of, we can try different things, we'll see what happens. But on the weekend, knowing it was an elimination, sort of coming into that last quarter, a few goals down, we sort of just told ourselves we can't play reserve. We just got to, take the game on and play the way we want to play. And that sort of brought out the best footy in us. And we were lucky enough to kick 5 goals to 1 in the last and get over the line. So.
Did you think that in the first 3 quarters you played reserve football? You played within yourselves?
I think not maybe the first quarter or 2. I think we got it was sort of the second and third quarter we started getting a bit frustrated in a few decisions that maybe were made by the umpires and a few things that we were doing, and that sort of put us off our own game. And then we started noticing that we were playing simple footy. We were kicking down the line. We were just playing, I guess, pretty simple is the way to put it.
And dumb football, really. Yeah. If you're kicking the ball down the line to pack situations and all that, you're not taking chances. Yeah. You're not taking the game on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We were being predictable to the other team, and I guess that's probably what got them over the line late in that third quarter. Yeah. But then sort of start of that last one, we sort of really, I guess went back to our strengths, and it ended up resulting in a win.
It was a high pressure game though. I thought the game was fantastic. I thought Edithvale really took it up to you. There would have been qualifying finals and I reckon second semis over the last couple of years that you would have played that wouldn't have been at that intensity. So I reckon that the match was up there.
Yeah, no, I felt that way too. It was very hot footy the whole day. Yeah. But I guess it came down to who was, the better contested team, especially on a ground like Chelsea, which is a bit smaller. It's all about, I guess, dominating the inside, but then being able to work the ball around the outside, creating shape around the ball. And I thought that's probably what we ended up doing well. So.
And Hulks, that's because there's 5 great sides in this competition.
It is.
It's back to 4 now, and any one of those 4 sides can win it.
Do you guys think if Rosebud had their new change rooms up and about, that they would have been certainties?
100%. 100% it would have been there.
First weekend of the final.
It would have been there. The second semi and the qualifying would have been there. Yeah. And then the first one would have been.
I think they knew that. And I think I mentioned to you last week, Hulks, that Lockie White was just a bit frustrated that the president of Rosebud, when we last visited there, he told me that I was hoping it would be ready. Yeah. But it's a long way from being ready for the new change rooms.
They're unbelievable, Dan. They have a time frame, and they always go 6 months over.
They do, yeah. But I mean, the Chelsea ground, it took a little while to get used to. You felt?
Oh, I mean, not really. I mean, there's a few teams still in our league. I mean, EDS is a good example. It's a very small ground. We know what we have to do. I mean, we play on a big ground every week in YC, but when it comes down to playing on a smaller ground, nothing really changes. You're still just playing footy. We still want to be a strong inside contested footy team, and at the end of the day, that's what we did. So
I reckon it nearly suits you, that smaller ground, especially with Onga and Bizer back there cutting off that in the back line. They're fantastic. So a smaller ground almost suits you, especially this week against Mount Eliza. I reckon it far weighs up for you guys.
He's a wonderful intercept mark, isn't he, the old Ongarella?
He is. Just on the venues, in the SEFNO, and again I don't want to go too long with the SEFNO. The point I'll make is that Berwick are likely, they're red hot. They're playing so well, they're going to be hosting the grand final. Why couldn't they this year, knowing that Rosebud weren't going to make the finals and probably was going to be the best ground that they could use if it was available, why couldn't they just change the way they look at it, AFL South East, and say, we're going to hold the finals on a ground of one of the teams that have finished in the top 5. And as the coach said to me when we were driving down today, we talk about a lot of interesting things. Why don't they allow the teams that finish highest on the ladder to host a final?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
But I'm from old school, and I don't know why they can't do it now, but I'm Car Street's finals.
I don't think I played it.
I didn't play a final anywhere else but Car Street when I played.
What, even qualifying and
everything,
first semi and
eliminations, everything was Car Street.
Used to all go through Car Street, and then you'd have one other ground available. So Car Street should have been for the second semi, and they shouldn't have had junior finals down there on Sunday. They should have had the second semi there, and the other ground that should have been available was probably the Pines Footy Club.
Sunecats would have been happy with that. Blokes don't mind Car Street.
Oh, we love it. It's our place. We love
it. It is.
Now, Matty, you've had a couple of years in the VFL, a year with Collingwood. What was that like?
That was
big
awesome.
Club like that.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. It was a lot different to, I guess, what I was expecting. It was just strange. I don't know. Like, you feel there's a lot of hype around it, I guess, when you're not involved. But then as soon as you're involved, like the hype's there. But then you sort of get used to it and go, this is pretty special. Like, you walk into training 2-3 nights a week, and you're walking in, you're seeing Adam Trelaw, Scott Pendlebury, just going through their daily stuff, and you go, this is just incredible. Then you've got like Jared Rivers was coach there. He was like having people like that around, especially being a Melbourne supporter, seeing him was pretty special. But it was incredible. It was awesome. I absolutely loved it down there. Yeah.
And then you went to Frankston. And what was that experience like? That probably didn't come as well as it should have. I mean, a different club because you're on your own. You don't have the AFL resources. You've got Adam Scrovolek, who is involved with St Kilda's ruck coach and also coaching Frankston. So he's basically got 2 masters. And I would have thought that'd be quite difficult. How have you found him as a coach, and how did you find that experience?
Oh, he's been awesome. I think he's gotten around the group really, really well, and in terms of the way he's coaching, it's been really good. We haven't quite moulded as a team yet, but that'll come. I mean, if you look at our team, you've got a couple of older blokes. I mean, Kev Lilak's probably our oldest bloke in our team. And
what a great leader.
Yeah, he's a very good leader.
And unfortunately for Kev, he got injured and wasn't able to have that on-field leadership.
He was going really well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was doing really well.
Best year I've seen him play.
Yeah. So, and he was looking really good. And then you've got Todd Alton and Jake Batchelor, who are about 24, 26. Yeah. And then after that, there's a whole group of 18 to 22-year-olds. So it's sort of just that sort of understanding the way we want to play, and just that general experience that we sort of are looking for. But I found it really good being down there, particularly because a lot of the players that are there, I've played footy with before, particularly just down at the Dandenong Stingrays. So I knew a lot of the boys knew each other. Yeah. And that just made it a lot easier. But I think if we can hold this group together for a few years, that we'll be a very good team. But it's just about getting that experience and that, just getting a bit older and bigger and stronger. So, is
it a tough competition? I believe you've had a few elbows, or did you try and dish out a couple of elbows and on the wrong end of them?
No, not really. They don't really give you much of that. I mean, once a few clubs are up a bit, they chirp up a bit. Particularly Sandy, I'm just going to throw it out there. They weren't happy with it. Sandy. We sort of, wanted to getting a bit physical towards the end of the game, and they were just telling us to look at the scoreboard, and we just told them they were absolute flogs. So, but yeah, we, you can only do so much. I mean, when you're losing in games, you can't really do a hell of a lot. But it's all.
How do you remain positive when you are losing most weeks, as you have been, unfortunately?
We did that every week. We would always look at what we were doing well, and we ended up being. Our kicking and handballing efficiency went through the roof throughout the year. Even though our results weren't quite where we wanted them to be, statistically we were getting better, but it's just there was something not quite there every week that wasn't quite getting us there, and good.
In my time at Frankston, it was always lapses of 5-8 minutes where opposition sides would then take control and dominate, Dan, and that's where Frankston weren't able to close that gap because they weren't able to stay competitive for 120 minutes.
Did you used to lace up your top at Frankston?
Yeah.
Yep.
Had one of those.
Those ones where you pull through and you tie.
And the opposition used to break their fingers when they tried to tackle you. Yeah.
I heard it. All that. I mean, in the 1980s and the 70s, that's the jumpers they used to wear.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, mate.
And they'd be taking the jumpers off and changing them after the grand final. A big frame like yours, Blake. Now, a great win, as we said, by YCW, and after the match we were lucky enough to catch up, and he's been a great man for us this year, Wayne Capper. And the man that kicked 5 goals and was named best on ground, got 6 votes in the player awards. Paul Minchington. Here's what they had to say after a terrific performance in getting through to the next round of the finals, YCW.
I'm joined by Cappy, the senior coach of the Frankston YCW Stone Cats, who have just come away with a goal victory over Edithvale when their backs are against the wall at 3/4 time. What were you guys thinking going into being 5 goals down?
I had to make sure the blokes had belief in themselves that they could do the job, and we just stuck to what the game plan was. The message was not to panic, and to take the game on a bit, and we made a couple of little changes, but the strength and conviction of the guys shone through, and really great character by the group.
I'm joined by the best on ground by a country mile. You kicked 5 with a torn calf. How did you put that performance together, Paul?
Team effort. The boys played awesome that last quarter. I thought we were down and out, and then sort of the boys just stuck together and got it done.
A really brave decision coming into the game and playing with a torn calf.
Yeah.
How do you think you're going to back it up?
I will. Don't worry about that. But just a lot of rehab. I'll be doing everything I can to get up for next week. And
I think with the calf and the way you played today, you did lift the team in the last quarter. Definitely, with being 5 goals down, and you kicked a couple important ones in the last quarter as well. You must be happy with an individual performance like that, though.
Yeah, it's sort of just the boys got it down to me and put in the right positives. So I was just happy to fell into sort of place, and
Imagine if you had 2 legs, mate. You could have had 10.
I know. So
thanks for the chat, mate.
Thanks. Buddy. Cheers.
So, Matty, how confident are you? I mean, you've been there before, you know how to win finals.
I mean, getting that first one out of the way helps, definitely. And definitely the fact that we get an extra day's break. We've spoken about that as a group, that's going to be really vital. So we've got to make sure that those 24 hours that we get extra, that we make the most of. And so as we speak, the boys are actually down at Park just getting a pool session in. So they're doing all they can. But based on form, I mean, we've had a good fight against Mount Eliza the other week, which was a very good sign for us.
They come from behind and drew the game.
Yeah, so that's
low scoring game, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, but that still gives us a lot of confidence. I mean, we know that Mount Eliza is a good team, and we were able to match it with them, and especially them coming off a loss, us coming off a win, and the 6-day to 7-day turnarown.
All the pressure's on Mount Eliza.
I feel his way, yeah.
Sorry, Chris. Go for it, Dan. It's all right. You go.
Yeah, you're on it. Dan Lonergan Studio.
It's your studio, mate.
Lonergan Studio, but I will not try and dominate. Publicly, clubs say about in local footy about the 6-day break and the 7-day break, that it doesn't mean much, that they could play the next day if they had to. But privately, how important is it?
It's huge.
And do you see the bit thinking, well, hang on, we've only got 6 and they've got 7 or 8, or is it just something you've got to try and just get on with?
I mean, as a group, we look at it as a massive advantage. Personally, I don't see a big issue in it, but maybe that's because I'm a bit younger than all the other players.
Young legs, mate.
Yeah, but
aspiring about a 6 and 7 day break.
Yeah, you'll take it for sure. Yeah, no, definitely. But
and Ongers,
yeah, all those. So I mean, it's just an extra day's break to get your mind off footy as well. I mean, some of the boys went down on Sunday to watch the game, but then some of them just want to take that extra day and just, really just relax and just, get away from footy for a bit. So.
Upshow wouldn't have been down there.
Oh yeah, he's always there. You'll always find him somewhere that way.
I reckon it's perfectly set up for you guys. I thought the most impressive thing about you guys was that run at the end. Yader spoke about it, and they were with you all the way through, and then all of a sudden you just found your legs and overran them in that last quarter. So you get the 6-day break as opposed to a 7-day for you guys. You get McLeod back, you get Lovett back, you get Hennis back, who was in the best for Western Bulldogs on the weekend. You got the momentum. All of a sudden, from finishing 5th and scraping in 1 week through, and you've got momentum.
Yep, no, that's very exciting. The problem is, though, I feel sorry for Cappy. I mean, I thought at the end of the day we probably had a good team performance on the weekend, but now you've got these players coming back. It's good for the team, but I mean, someone like there's going to have 3 boys that are going to miss out.
And the reserves are out too, aren't they?
Yeah. So.
I was just thinking that too, but that's been the beauty about YC for the last 6 or 7 years, because you got guys like Mickey Debenham, Mazurak, Santon, all these guys. They missed out on grand finals and they missed out on premierships. And instead of going to other clubs doing all that, it galvanised them. They become better players, and now they're 22, 23 and set. So the kids that you've got at the moment, as long as they take it the right way, it's a stepping stone for them for later on.
Because they seem to know it's the right culture. It's the right structure.
It's a great culture down there.
And that there may be, and we thought this year might be it, there may be a year where you might miss out, and you have it in the end. And if you do have a year which might be below what you expected, because of the culture, because of the structure, you'll rise pretty quickly. That seems to be the emphasis down there, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And the fact that we're talking about, obviously, our youth, if they do miss out, I mean, they still get that taste. Like, we've had a lot of young kids, particularly in the last few weeks, get a game. Brendan Marchmont, Josh Berenger, God, off the top of my head, there's definitely a few more, but, giving them a taste of senior footy and actually seeing them do well, they'll be back and they'll be, they'll be charging next year when we get the chance again,
And just before we let you go, Matt, Cappy, has he changed too much? I mean, we've interviewed him a lot and he's been wonderful for us. He doesn't seem to change certainly too much publicly. Privately, do you get many sprays from him, or is he fairly even keel most of the time, temperament-wise?
Oh, he's normally pretty good, but there was one the other week that I really saw him, flick the switch, and I went, shit, I've never seen him like this before. Like, he was going off. I reckon it might have been against, who was it?
Was it Bomb Beach?
Mount Eliza?
It might have been one of those, yeah. I'm trying to think, but I was actually a bit scared. He was going off, but otherwise, no, he's awesome. Yeah. So yeah,
he's a good
great
fella.
coach. Yeah, really good.
Well, looking, of course, at next week, we did discuss the Mount Eliza and the Frankston YCW game and the Sorrento game, and also Pines. I mean, Pines are in awesome form. They've got those forwards. Edwards has kicked another big bag of 6. He's got great support around him. I think they've got the best forward line. I know Sorrento's forward line, boys, is pretty strong, but you'd have to say that I think Pines' mix is just as good, if not better.
Since we went down to the Pines ground on that Thursday night, Holds,
we've been a lucky charm.
We have, but Paddy Swain always said to me, Dan, that they were going to be better in the second half of the year than they were in the first half of the year. They had suspensions and injuries early. And their form, they have been the best side the second half of the year.
They've been cracking. And on Sunday, what was really evident is that their physical pressure around the ball was too much for Mount Eliza.
Yeah.
Mount Eliza fumbled continuously. And
inferred pressure?
Yeah, to an extent. The young kids have been so good for so long, Mount Eliza, but on a small ground in a pressure atmosphere of a final, they fumbled and they turned over the ball, which cost them dearly. The YC Edithvale game wasn't like that, and Pines didn't play like that, so they've got to turn it around quick, or else the pressure YC put on will see them go out.
They get off to great starts, don't they, Matty?
Pines,
and their first quarters generally are where they win games, but it was a blitzkrieg in the second quarter. The game was all over. It was done and dusted at half time. I mean, I thought Mount Eliza did okay to be with them up to quarter time, and then after that, they just put the foot down, and teams haven't been able to stop them from doing that over the last 5 or 6 weeks. It's been one quarter where they've just basically put the game to bed.
Yeah.
And they did that to Sorrento down at Sorrento, Dan, the second time around. They got off to a really good start, and then Sorrento pegged them back and nearly got the job done. But I love what Paddy's been doing with the Pines boys, and I think the Pines on that smaller ground, if it was on a big open ground, I think that their outside leg speed wouldn't be there, but I think they're inside. It's going to be hard because Sorrento's got some good inside players in Tapscott and Mitch Hallahan as well.
What if they get to the grand final? And I know it's still a couple of weeks away, and Paddy wouldn't want to talk about that. We'll hear from him in just a second. But are they going to have the leg speed on the outside of Car Street?
If they get the week break, they will.
Yeah, they will to an extent. With Pines, it's more about their pressure around the ball, and they're able to cause turnovers. If they get that release from the back line, I don't reckon they've necessarily coached that well against Pines over the last few weeks. They've allowed the release. Boswell's been running the ball flat stick off a back flank, and their ball movement's been so quick that it's got Edwards one out down in the forward line, and he's in that sort of form where he's going to take over games. So you need to really restrict him coming out of their back half. And win enough of that midfield ball to put them under real pressure.
That was a wonderful goalie kick from the boundary line on the weekend.
Terrific.
Now, just before we take a break, we need to hear from Paddy Swain, and Trent Dennis-Lane is our new recruit on GameFace, as well as being the new coach of Bond Beach.
I saw him
We'll
down
hear
there
from him on the program a little bit later.
Yeah.
It's great news that he and Steve Hughes will be coaching Bond Beach together.
Terrific.
Let's hear what Paddy Swain said to Trent Dennis-Lane after a terrific victory for Pines as they march into a second semi.
In the change rooms here with Paddy Swain. Paddy, great win, mate. Boys did it for 4 quarters. I watched most of the game. What'd you put it down to?
I thought, look, to be honest, we were good in front of goal. They kicked 14 points, 9-14. I think we've kicked 16-8 or something like that, so 17-8. But I thought it was actually a pretty even contest. I don't think it was a 60-point, the result didn't sort of show how close it was as a contest. They were really good in the second half. But at the end of the day, I think we just made the most of our opportunities, which was the main thing we had to do for the day. We got through unscathed today, which was great, so I wouldn't imagine us changing too much up. We've tidied a few things up around stoppages. I thought they were pretty good at stoppages today, and Sorrento's obviously a really good stoppage side, so tidy a few of those things up. But yeah, we looked pretty potent when we went forward, didn't we?
Well done, Paddy Swain, and of course our special guest, thanks to the Frankston RSL. Stick with us, Matty. Great to have you with us, and we'll go to a break and be back with Bombers President Chris Sharman next.
Thanks, Matty.
Low Farms, the Australian grower and supplier of rocket, lettuce, spinach and salad mixes.
Websites, videos, Google marketing, SEO. What do you need for your business? Call the team at Chill. They really know their stuff.
Welcome back to the GameFace Footy Show, Division 1. After the first week of the finals, we're looking ahead to the second week of the finals. Always a great pleasure to welcome a man who's very passionate about this competition, very passionate about his football club. He got a nickname last year, Stick Fat with the Bat. Chris Batty Sharman has been good enough to join us. Welcome, Chris. Good to have you with us. I bet you'd love to be playing finals.
Oh, would be, mate. Yeah, very much so. But no, we didn't. We fell short. So probably didn't help losing. Well, obviously didn't help losing 4 of the last 5. So yeah, we just didn't get over the line there. So
what happened?
Oh, I really couldn't tell you. But we can't blame it on injuries. We wouldn't have had any more injuries than any other club. So. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Their processes just fell over, obviously, and...
Holtz and I thought when you went down to Pines, we really thought that you were right in the mix.
Well, that
weekend,
the week before, when they played YC in the wet out there, you'd strung a few together and you were just playing red-hot football. And I thought, you'll clean up Pines here and you'll push towards that top 3. And it was just disappointing because that first quarter when he came out against Pines, there's just no love in it. There was no guts. There was no feeling. It was weird.
But once again, Pines, their form's been outstanding.
I didn't expect it from you guys though. That was the thing.
I'd be honest with you, when I saw the score, I was setting up for one of our functions, and I thought
you had a ball, didn't you? You said. Now, Bar, you've got one job. Yeah. You take care of the 4 points and I'll take care of the ball.
I'll take care of the ball. And I actually sent a message to Svigos and said, can you get the game face up? I need to know the score. And he sent me 9 goals, 1. I thought, joking. I went around the boys and they said, you probably don't want to know about it. I said, oh, he wasn't.
No, but all over it was that first start. It was really encouraging because I didn't think that you'd be as competitive as what you were in First Division for that first little bit, and you were playing over and above. So, congratulations on that first part of the year. It was just a little pity fell over.
And it was great that your under-19s made the finals, Batty. Zach Horsley's done an outstanding job with those kids, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, he has. Yeah, it's a club. We've done well. I mean, it's pretty hard losing 2 grand finals and having to step up and go into Division 1. But I mean, the easy option would have been to fight it and try and stay down. And I'm glad we didn't. And we took it's been a really good. It's been good for us. I mean, we had 99 years in that league against the Pines and the likes, and it was good playing against.
You've got to better yourself, Chris, don't you?
Yes, well that's it. You've got to set yourself challenges. So, and our gates have been better, and as I said, like all the old boys love playing against the Pines, EDS, back to Mount Eliza. And
because Batty, when you and I were growing up, we were playing against the Edithvales and the Chelseas, those sort of sides, Dan.
So, aren't you bettering yourself if you're playing Cranbournes?
Yeah, maybe, but not necessarily this year. As I said, I don't think the forecast has been that great. You know, like for me as a business owner, and you set yourself a forecast to go forward, and that involves not just hopping, it involves a whole process, and we put out an expression of interest on a tender, and everyone gets their jobs in and prices in, everything like that, and that's the same with football. You know, put out an expression of interest, in 2 years' time we're going to do this, and we might get an expression of interest of 8 clubs, 6 clubs, 4 clubs.
Have they got a plan?
No, well, not as far as I know. We've got a plan that they want Cranbourne in this year, which is great, and Cranbourne want to come in, but whether with the upheaval we've sort of had in the last 2 years, is at the right time now we have, and I mean, I've had an email from John, and the president's got one, but there's not a lot of substance to it. Not a lot of structure.
Have you replied to that to say we believe there should be more substance to it, John?
We've spoken to them, and a few of the presidents have replied to it and said, well, we probably need some more information, some more structure. And as I said, and then, I mean, for me, I'd say, all right, in 2020, let's get, especially in that side, I don't know who it is, let's say for argument's sake, it's
Chelsea Heights?
Chelsea Heights and Mornington and South Mornington and Sky and Cranbourne, and then we go, all right, well, there's 6 teams that want to come in 2020. All right, well, 10 and 8. I mean, at this stage, we're going to have 12 and 12 next year, and then the year after is at 12, 13, 11, 14. You know, we don't really get that. You need.
So 6. You don't want one team coming in each year.
No. And we went through this last year, and it's got to be geographically what we went through.
I agree with you to an extent, and we've gone through it with the league and so forth. That sounds like a perfect idea. They are saying to us, and they're saying to you guys, their hands are tied because they can't approach anyone. So putting out an expression of interest would be against what they're saying that they're able to do. So we're at a loggerheads.
But it's not though, is it? It's not. It's a bit different to. I was talking with the coach on the way down today about applying for jobs and an expression of interest. Now, an expression of interest is different than actually properly applying for a job. If you put an expression of interest in, you're not actually putting your resume in and going through the whole process. You're just saying, I'm interested in having a chat to you.
Correct.
Applying for a job means you go through the whole process of putting the resume in and then sitting and waiting, and hopefully you'll get an interview.
And what's the response been back from that you've put through on that idea?
Well, there is a subcommittee that's been put together to discuss a few things going on with the league.
President's subcommittee?
The President's subcommittee. I'm not involved with that. Graham Sherry, a few other boys are doing that. I think they've actually put the Cranbourne submission to the side because it's a pretty hot issue. But that's probably a job for that subcommittee going forward in the next 1 or 2 years.
So when you say they put it to the side, there needs to be an answer though, because at this stage, the Outer East, the new Outer East League, are going ahead without Cranbourne. Jerry Kelly told me a few weeks ago after they lost to Narry Warren in one of the last home and away rounds, he said, we don't have a league at the moment because It's going to be very tight. I think there are 15 clubs in favour of, in the Mornington Peninsula League, in favour of us joining, but we need a little bit more than that. So I think to be absolutely exact, 16.5. So they need 17. They need 17 clubs. And he said the Outer East have gone ahead without us at the moment to start preparing for next year. Although I did hear from Stewie Boland, a great bloke, the president of Narry Warren, we've been calling a few of their matches for GameFace, and he said that the Outer East competition, or the old Yarra Rangers competition, have said that they will be happy to accommodate Cranbourne if they're not successful in getting into the NFL, but at this stage they're going ahead with planning without the Cranbourne Eagles. Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah, and I believe that's right. I mean, they've obviously got to move forward as well. But as I said, there hasn't been any structure around it other than from us, Cranbourne, putting an application. But AFL South East, as I said, haven't given us a structure. I mean, we've got an email last week. This is the way it might look, but nothing's been set.
So have you been direct with John Anderson, Chris, about this? And said, John, where's the structure? Where's the long-term structure that we want more than one club in? What's your long-term future for the Mornington Peninsula Nepean Football League regarding a third division?
They want a third division, okay, but as they said, we'll get 1 in, 2 in, 3 in. We're going to grow it as we go. Yeah. But as I said, I keep harping on it. We've got to have an expression and let it settle down for the next 2 years. Like I'm happy. The league's been great this year. The first 2 divisions have been great. All right, it's 10 and 12. Let them settle. Get a couple of promotion relegation over the next year or two, and then it'll get stronger and better again. And then in 2 years, as I said, in 2 years' time, I mean that's a simple thing for me. Okay, let's have a look at these clubs that have said they want to come in, and whether that's Frankston Dolphins and Mornington South, Chelsea Heights. Cranbourne, all of a sudden, well, there's 4, and and then you can start working out. All right, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, and we can spend 12 months of going. All right, this is where we're all going to settle.
You've also been critical on the grand final, the day the grand final should be on. I did hear that you had booked out Carr Street on a Saturday. Can I ask you how much that cost, or was going to cost?
Oh, well, it's $350.
$350 for the day.
$350, yes.
Which isn't that much.
No.
And so what happened? You booked it out, but the league completely ignored that.
Yes. Well, we obviously had the press release released December 17th last year that the Division 1, Division 2 grand finals are going to be on a Saturday, which is really the best thing to do. I mean, to play in a grand final, you don't get anything for it other than a bit more time to make some money, get some remuneration back for the club. Like on a Sunday, I know you're still going to get 5,000 people at Division 1, and it's great that they're a week apart, and you're going to get 5,000 people there on a Sunday or a Saturday, but on a Sunday night, you go back to the rooms, and Mum's saying, come on, Tony, go back. The kids have been up all day, they're tired, you've got to work tomorrow, kids have got to go to school, and you just, you've got a few hours there where you can make some money. 2009, you remember when we won, just that Saturday night.
Saturday night goes for a long time, Dan.
How long time?
12, 1 o'clock.
And
maybe a bit later.
How much did you contribute to the bar that night?
No, I don't drink, Dan, so I didn't contribute bugger all.
How much did you contribute to the night, Daddy?
Actually, I was too busy.
He was too busy running around.
But what we're saying is a Saturday.
But sorry to interrupt. But if it wasn't a function night, Dan, he would contribute quite a bit.
That's right.
It all comes down to that 6-day break, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it comes down to that 6-day break, and that was the argument. But then obviously this week.
What about this week, Dan? Dan, in your opinion, if you finish second or third, doesn't that give you the right to have the best lead up to any game?
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, in my eyes, it does. And on the weekend, obviously, the second semi was played on a Sunday. Whereas in second division, the second semi was played on a Saturday, and the elimination final and the first semi-final were played on the Sunday.
They got it wrong.
So they got it right, didn't they?
They got it. Yeah, but Division 1 they got wrong.
And Division 2, Division 1 they got it wrong.
Well, that's clear.
Manly's has got a 6-day break leading up to the big game against YCW this week.
They're obviously not happy about it. You've spoken to me, Chris?
I wouldn't be happy. I mean, it could have been us and our boys won a few
games. Could have been anyone, Dan.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't matter who it is. It's not right.
Was that announced this week, or has that been in the pipeline for a couple of weeks?
Well, it's obviously been in the pipeline for a couple of weeks.
It's been in the pipeline for a couple of weeks, but we've obviously been arguing about the grand final as well. And
what's AFL South East said about it?
I don't think they've commented on this subject in particular about the flipping of the Division 1 and having it in the wrong way. I just can't see if you want to have and we're talking about the grand final again and the timing with it all, you want to have the prelim final for Division 1 as a standalone because you want people to have the opportunity to go to a Division 2 grand final and a Division 1 prelim. All right, so the only thing you'd have to do is flip, and the Division 2 would become a Sunday grand final, which wouldn't suit them, obviously, and then Division 1. So the only way that you can actually do it, I think, is if you sacrifice and go prelim final Division 1 on a Saturday and the grand final on a Saturday. That's the only way.
I spoke to Bo and I said if we're lucky enough to get into the grand final, I said we're taking a 6-day break if it's on a Saturday. I said unfortunately, from a financial position,
it could be the difference between 10 grand, couldn't it, Paddy?
Yeah, easily.
What did both say?
Pardon?
What did both say?
He said, well, that's what it is, that's what it is, Betty. And I said, well, that's it. And I spoke to a few players, and they actually said, well, if we can't get up in 6 days, Betty, there's something wrong with us. I said, realistically, by Wednesday, we could probably be playing a game of football. But
if you want to play badly enough, you play. But look, I understand your situation. Look, we'll have to go, Chris. I'd love to discuss more with you. There's lots of issues occurring in the NPNFL at the moment, and the great man Chris Sharman, stick fat with the bat, is always right in the middle of them because he's trying to do the best for his team and the best for the league going forward. Thanks for joining us, Chris, and no doubt we'll see you around finals time over the next couple of weeks. This is the GameFace Footy Show. It's Division 1. Back with more shortly.
You First Real Estate. Call 5925 9278 or visit youfirstrealestate.com.au. In the First Division Best Players Award, after the first weekend of the finals, Mason DeWitt of Mount Eliza, an outstanding game despite his team's loss. He got 6 votes, as did Guy Hendry of Pines, having a very good season, as is his team. They're into a second semi-final. They're flying. Sam Monaghan of Edithvale Aspendale did everything he could for his team, but they went down to Frankston YCW and they're out of the finals race. He got 6 votes as well. And Paul Minchington of YCW played a big role in his team getting over the line against the Eagles with 5 goals. He secured 6 votes. In the Reserves Best Players Award in First Division, Nick King of YCW, 6 votes despite his team's loss. Trevor Madison Sorrento, 6 votes. His team had a good win. Kieran Shaw of Seaford, his team went down, but he got 6 votes. And Darcy Walker of Edithvale Aspendale, as well as kicking 3 goals, got 6 votes for being the best player for the Eagles as they move into a second semi-final. In the under-19s, Lachlan Avery of the Bombers did everything he could to try and get the Bombers over the line, but they just fell short by 2 points. He secured 6 votes, as did Connor Jacoby of Mornington, getting 6 votes as the Bulldogs lived to fight another day in the under-19s. Jackson Stewart of Edithvale Aspendale, 6 votes, and Josh Behringer, the best for YCW, and their loss to Edithvale Aspendale, 6 votes.
Welcome back to the GameFace Division 1 Footy Show. Great to be here at the Dan Lonergan Studio.
I love it.
I'll say it again. I christened it tonight. I decided we would have a vote.
Did you? I wasn't here for that.
I decided. Not christened it. I named it tonight. I didn't put any baptismal water or anything like that. I just named it tonight, and I had a selection process. A selection process of 1. Now, Matty, what do you like to do outside footy?
Well, obviously a bit of work here and there. I work with a family friend who I've known for a long time.
Doing what?
A bit of concreting, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Ooh, tough trade.
That's Stewie Wade,
it's not too bad. Yeah, no, it's all right. He treats me well. I mean, he knows that...
Is it Stewie Wade, is it?
Right. Oh, no, don't know that. But no, a bit of that. Just like kids nowadays, don't mind hanging out on my PS4. Yeah.
Got a girlfriend on the go?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yep.
Only one?
So, only one.
Yeah?
Only one. Yep, so... Name, Olivia Robertson.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Is there
I try and split my time between the two, but PS4 normally is...
The coaches asked
age.
PlayStation.
Why is that relevant to
I have absolutely no idea, but that's the coach for you.
Bacchus was just asking
I just said what's
PS4.
You're too young for you, I reckon.
That's fair.
Oh, you are an idiot, Bacchus.
What about any of the boys down there on fire with the ladies at the moment? Any single boys?
Down at YC?
Yeah. Who's leading the pack?
Oh, God. They all reckon they are. But, Lockie Street fancies himself a bit.
Or on and off the field?
Yes, I do.
I've been pumping him up.
Pumping him up all year.
So, how good a player is Lockie Street?
He's been really good. The player footy-wise, yes. He's been very good. Yeah.
Nice.
Now, boys, we've been looking at the Coach of the Year for Division 1 and Division 2. Now, looking at the Seniors and also under 19s, looking at the Seniors Coach of the Year in Division 1, and we've had a lot of votes on Facebook. Obviously, the Pines people have been out and about because Paddy Swain's dominating, 274. The Mount Eliza people like Troy Shannon at 156. And what are you doing, Edithvale Aspendale supporters? Because Graham Yates has only had 14, and I wonder now, with the greatest respect to Yoda, who was a terrific player at Melbourne, very successful at the Dandenong Stingrays, and done a pretty good job, and Springvale, and done a pretty good job with the Eagles, whether his team did underachieve a bit now that they're out of the finals race.
Definitely.
There should have been someone else
definitely
put in as coach of the year.
You look at coach of the year in terms of home and away. Now, with 2 games to go, they could have finished top 3 double chance.
They could have finished on top.
They could have finished on top with 2 games to go. So the last 2 they just didn't quite click. Lost under 10 points. He had a great year, Yoda, but they just couldn't finish off.
No.
So you take that.
Are we being harsh on Luke Tapscott? Because of the fact that they've got a very good team, we expect them to be up there, and he took on the coaching role late.
He was probably 4th. But yeah, we are. Only because Sereno at the moment, and I think we talked about it with our tips last week, we tend to sort of try and find something out there, out of the ordinary, as opposed to seeing what's straight in front of us. And Sereno this year have been fantastic. They have got a great list.
To come up and do what they've done.
Yeah, terrific.
Yeah.
So, look, hats off to him. He's done a great job. I just thought those 3 were a touch in front.
Fair enough. And I believe, though, that our audience do not make the final decision, do they, Chris?
Look, I would have thought I would, mate, being the resident expert of Division 1. Is that right, Tony?
Well, I think so.
Yeah, and then they can jump on and have a crack at me.
If you were having a say, Matty, who would you vote for?
I'll be a bit biased in saying Cappy.
But of those 3.
Of those
Cappy's
3?
Cappy's had a hard year.
He's done a good job of them.
Bloody oath.
Between Paddy and Troy, I think it would be pretty close. I think they're both working with lists that aren't the strongest in the league. Personally, I think Mount Eliza didn't have the expectation of finishing as high as they have, and they've been really good all year. And I think Paddy's working with a really young team as well. So I think between those 2, to be very close, but I think they're both superb.
Before we move on, and I'll probably talk about it later, just quickly, remember at the start of the year, Paddy almost didn't have a job. And he had to go and put his tail between his legs and go, you know what, you might have had a look at other coaches and all that sort of stuff, but he took the bit between the teeth, come back, and he's coached an absolute treat. I couldn't have done it. I wouldn't have coached Pines
some of
this
the
year.
committee might, and they're a terrific club, Pines. Every time we've gone down there, we've been well looked after, and we thank them very much.
No, they've been great.
I think some of the committee would be a bit red-faced, wouldn't they, the way they handled it?
Oh, 100%.
It wasn't their finest moment, was it?
But that's Paddy's character, to be able to jump back and do what he's done this year. It's been a great job. Great job.
And if they win the premiership, well, happens that.
Happy
He can
times.
coach them for as long as he wants, I reckon.
Happy times.
Okay, let's get the selections.
Happy
Matt,
times
you can get involved.
Happy hands.
Yep, no
Happy
worries.
hands.
Start, of course, with the seniors in the big game being played in the second semi-final. And that match is between Sorrento and Pines. What are we thinking, boys? I honestly think Pines can win this. They beat Sorrento only a few weeks ago. I know Sorrento were coming, and they could have nearly pinched it, but there was a big lead for Pines at one stage. I think they can get the job done.
I believe Pines were fantastic, probably the most impressive side on the weekend. That form was unbelievable. Sorrento had the week off. I've just got a funny feeling that Mitch Hallahan's going to do something special on Sunday. He's a great player, he's in great form. It's going to be a cracking game. Anyone can win it on the day. I would lean towards Sorrento.
Does Dawes play, do you think, Holtz?
I don't know. If I was a tipping man, I would say yes, he will play, but who knows?
Or do they give him one more week? Depends on how.
I think
Schwartz is not, is he?
No, he's not playing.
No, he's done.
But I don't think that's as big a disadvantage as some people would think. He
Especially on that small ground.
He doesn't need to kick 7 for him to win. So I think it's more of a midfield battle between Scanlon Potts and the Hallahan boys and Luke Tapscott when he goes through. So that's where it's going to be won and lost.
What do you think, Matty?
I reckon Pines. I reckon Sereno with a week off. They've played finals footy, but I think the standard of Division 1 finals footy is going to be a step up, and they might not be ready for it, but I think Pines, they must be going in with a lot of confidence, so I reckon Pines will win. Yeah.
I've really enjoyed watching Pines, and especially since they beat Bombers and they've had outstanding quarters, and they had an outstanding quarter against Sorrento down at Sorrento. I think that their overall depth was questioned by us, Hulk, so I thought that they're bottom 4 or 5, but I think that those guys have been playing their roles and they've been playing great football. So I think the Pines on that smaller ground is really going to suit Pines, and if they can get the week's break, gives them a good opportunity to go all the way.
It's going to just quickly. It's going to come down to their ball movement. If Pines are allowed to move the ball like they've been doing the last couple of weeks and get it to Edwards one-on-one over the top, he's in that sort of form. They won't be able to stop him. No. Brigden will have his hands full all day. He'll have his hands full if that's the case, because he won't want to go one-on-one.
And no, he won't. No. And he's a rebounding backman who loves to as soon as they win possession of the ball, leave his man. But he will be hesitant to leave Edwards alone.
Sereno's pressure has to be spot on, or else they'll get cut up, and Az will kick another 8.
Going to be a ripping game now on Saturday after a 6-day break. Mount Eliza going to be an interesting week for them. They take on YCW. Obviously, Matty, you think YCW will win? Why do you think they'll win?
I guess basically on what I was saying a bit earlier, I think we'll be going in with a lot of confidence, knowing that we were competitive against them a few weeks ago, and obviously coming off a win as well with the extra day's break. And Mount Eliza coming off a heavy loss to Pines, and the 6-day break. It's not in their favour, but it's finals footy. Anything can happen. But if we play the way we want to play, I don't see why we can lose.
Hey, Matty, 2 weeks ago against Mount Eliza, you really dominated that game and really controlled it. And I know it was shitty conditions, but it was
terrible language, Tony.
It was terrible conditions. But they were able to peg their way back and get 2 points for that game. So realistically, you've got a lot of belief and come out of that game. And with those ins that you said, Hulk, so I think that YC are the side with momentum at the moment.
Ongarello Moncrief's going to be a ripping matchup. Moncrief kicked 3 with not much ball supply last week, so Ongar's going to have to be on his game. He's got a lot of support around him though. Their backline's starting to get strengthened up, and the kids, like I said, they've been great, but they fumble too much, and he can't do it in a final.
I think
so if
the kids are getting a bit tired, Chris, aren't they?
Well, if it's just the pressure goes up another level, mate, and on a small ground. So I've got faith in them that they're going in the right direction, but are they going to be able to turn around in 6 days and not fumble the ball? I don't know. And even if they don't, they're going for a hell of a game. So with that question mark, I'd go Stonecats.
Yeah, I'm going YCW as well.
Nice.
Should be a fascinating game. Quickly, the reserves and under-19s. We'll probably get one-word selections here. It's going to be a very interesting game between Seaford and Sorrento. Can Seaford come back?
No, Sorrento.
No? I'm going Seaford. I think they can come back.
I think Seaford.
They finished second for a reason, and they've done a good job. And Mount Eliza, they weren't expected to go as well this year. And Troy Shannon said this on the Footy Show a couple of weeks ago, that they were, trying to change the way the club was focusing on the reserves, but they still found a way to finish on top. Edith Vale Aspendale have done well, but I still think Mount Eliza been their best reserves team all year.
Yeah, I think Edith Vale might win that, just because they might have a couple of blokes dropping back, Dan, a couple of blokes available. Even though Mount Eliza have been really good, I think that they've dropped a couple of games throughout the year.
Matty?
Yeah, I reckon Eddie as well.
That's
like you were just saying, they'll have a few players coming back, and obviously off a good win against Seaford, I reckon they'll win.
It's a definite grand final preview.
I think it is.
Those two are the standouts.
Yeah. And in the under-19s, the first semi, the Frankston YCW Stonecats have been very good for a long time in the under-19s. Can they bounce back?
I hope so. I reckon they will. I don't see why they can't. Yep.
Mornington were good against them recently, but I still think YCW a bit better.
YC for me.
I think it was about 40 points or 30 points that Mornington beat them by at Mornington. So I'll take Mornington.
Mount Eliza and Edith Vale Aspendale. Mount Eliza flying up there in the under-19s like Red Hill are in the under-19s in second division.
I don't think that'll be close. I think Mount Eliza will win that pretty easy.
Thank you, gentlemen. Matty, thanks for being with us tonight. We look forward to seeing you in the finals. Good luck.
Thank you.
Well, that's just about it for our Division 1 footy show. Reminding everyone, our grand final footy show for Division 1 is Wednesday week, the 12th of September at the Frankston RSL. We'll be back here, Chris, for the preliminary final show in the Dan Lonergan Studio next week. But we should have a great footy show for the grand final, shouldn't we?
Mate, this grand final show is building. I mean, we've got tonight, we have some news that we might have a haircut on the night. We've also, Gary McDonnell rang me back and he said he's got that night open, so we'll get the massage table down. They'll give you a good go at you for the night. Get you down in your...
Dan, you won't need to go to Happy Hands anymore.
There'll be no Happy Hands with Dr. Dan. No Happy Hands. A bit of a different massage.
I'm not looking forward to that. I might be in diabolical trouble. More trouble than the Werribee Duck, I reckon, at the end of that. Thank you, gentlemen. Thanks, Matt. Good luck on the weekend. And we will catch you again next week for more Division 1 football. May the best team win on the weekend.